Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss transport across the cell membrane. Okay, as we have to know that there are three major types of transport process. Okay, active transport, passive transport, and vesicle transport. Okay, so today we have to discuss the various types of transport that occur in the cell membrane. After completing the today discussion, student able to understand passive transport and their types like diffusion and again diffusion are two types: simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. And osmosis is another type of passive transport and active transport. Okay, so and active transport again two types: primary active transport and secondary active transport. And third types is vesicular transport, okay, in which there are three types: endocytosis, exocytosis, and transcytosis. So, as we already know that transport of substances across the cell membrane is necessary to maintain the normal functioning of the cell in the body. Okay, because there are so many molecules that transport in, transport out. Okay, during the various biochemical processes. And lipid soluble substance and water and urea can easily pass through the lipid bilayer of the cell membrane. Okay, as you know that the cell membrane has unique arrangement in which the phospholipid molecule, okay, and it form a bilayer. Okay, and where the outer portion of cell membrane become uh, hydrophobic. Okay, and the lipid bilayer of the cell membrane is impermeable to the lipid insoluble substance such as ions and charge or polar molecule like glucose. Okay, so these molecules need a specific transport system in the membrane, and these substances pass through specialized protein channel and carrier protein and active pump mechanism like sodium potassium pump that found in the plasma or cell membrane. And a large macromolecule are transported through vesicles. Okay, like through exocytosis, endocytosis, and these are the various types of transport. And one by one, we have to discuss these types. Okay, so as you have to see in this figure, there is two types of transport. One is where there is no need of energy, and second one is where there is need of energy. Okay, like in this figure, you have to see that. Okay, when there is transport occur down the concentration gradient. Okay, up toward the down. Okay, so there is no need of energy like in the diffusion, osmosis, and facilitated diffusion. Okay, so this is the passive transport. And while anything that transport against the concentration gradient, okay, against the gradient, so it require a certain amount of energy. Okay, so if there is requirement of energy is there, so this type of transport is called active transport. And passive transport, like you have to see that the diffusion, okay, in which the simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion and osmosis. Okay, and diffusion is a very simple types of transport in which the movement of ion or molecule from a region of their high concentration to a region of their low concentration is there without the use of any energy, and movement is toward the concentration gradient. Okay, so that's why when the equilibrium is achieved and the concentration of both sides become equal, the transport process is in equilibrium. Okay, so this is very simple type of process which is called diffusion. So in this figure you have to see that. Here in this figure, the crystal start to dissolve, forming a region of high concentration of solid molecule. Okay, then it spread out in the solution, and the molecule diffuse out along the concentration gradient in all direction. Okay, then eventually the molecule spread throughout the water uniformly. Okay, so this is very good example of simple diffusion process in which there is no requirement of energy is there, and there are certain factors that affect the diffusion rate. Okay, and the diffusion gradient or concentration gradient. Okay, so if the diffusion gradient is high or the concentration gradient is high, so the it increase the rate of diffusion. Okay, and size of molecule or ions or molecular weight also affect the rate of diffusion, and the smaller the size, the higher the rate of uh, diffusion. Okay, so here is a indirectly proportional to the size or molecular weight. Okay, and third one, temperature. So temperature also affect the rate of diffusion. So the higher is the temperature, the higher is the rate of diffusion, and diffusion medium also affect the rate of diffusion. Okay, so the rate of diffusion in the gas is higher than rate of diffusion in the liquid, and the rate of diffusion in the liquid is higher than rate of diffusion in the solid. Okay, so so that's why the medium also affect the rate of diffusion. And the surface area, so the larger the surface area, the higher is the rate of diffusion. Okay, and solubility. Okay, so the solubility is directly proportional to the rate of diffusion, and thickness of membrane is indirectly proportional to the rate of diffusion. Okay, so diffusion through a lipid matrix. Okay, and lipophilic or hydrophobic or non-polar or uncharged substances like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, fatty acid, alcohol, steroid hormone. Okay, so these are the substances that can transport through the simple diffusion. And water as it is a small molecule with high kinetic energy. Okay, and urea. Okay, so these molecules can diffuse through the lipid matrix, and ionic diffusion can occur through the channel protein, and ion diffuse through the ion channel that present in the plasma membrane, and they are either open or gated. Okay, open means they always open, gated means they are open in response to the binding of ligand, or in response to the change in the gradient and change in the uh, potential. And open and leak channel also there. Okay, like potassium ion channel. Okay, and gated channels open when the stimulus is given by in the form of voltage and on ligand binding on the mechanical pressure. Okay, so these are the three ways by which these ion channel control. Okay, and the second one is facilitated diffusion. And facilitated diffusion is movement of specific molecule across the plasma membrane assisted by a carrier protein. Okay, so here the additional point is uh, assisted transport, assisted diffusion, assisted by the carrier protein, and the direction of the movement is down the concentration gradient. That's why there is no requirement of energy is there. So this figure showing the facilitated diffusion. Okay, you have to see that in this figure there is a protein channel. Okay, which is closed. Okay, while in the second figure you have to see that there is carrier protein. Okay, so these protein channel and carrier protein helps in the diffusion process. Okay, that's why it's called facilitated diffusion. And what is the difference between the carrier protein and channel protein? So the carrier protein bind to a larger molecule and change their shape. Okay, so molecule can diffuse through it. Okay, so this is called carrier protein. Okay, while channel protein provide a water-filled pores for charge ion to pass through it. Okay, So this is called channel protein. Okay, so both are different structure. This is carrier protein, and one is channel protein. And the between simple diffusion, diffusion, okay, or facilitated diffusion. So the condition is required simple diffusion, and while facilitated diffusion along with statistical gradient, the carrier molecule also required. Uh, uh, Simple diffusion, the rate of diffusion is with increased statistical gradient, while in facilitated it reaches affiliating. As in you see in this figure, there is saturation of the carrier protein. Okay, when this saturation is there, the transport process becomes stable. Okay, because it depends on the number of channel protein. Okay, so like simple diffusion, ions through ion channel. Okay, and facilitated diffusion like glucose transport through the glucose transporter. Okay, and next a passive process of transport is osmosis. So osmosis is the movement of water molecule through a selective permeable membrane or semi-permeable membrane, okay, like cell membrane, and water diffuse across a membrane from an area of high concentration to area of low concentration in terms of water. Okay, so in this figure you have to see that this is selective permeable membrane. Okay, and the small circle represent water molecule, while a larger one shows the sugar molecule. Okay, so you have to see that the left side chamber has only water molecule, while the right side chamber has sugar molecule dissolved in the water. Okay, so you have to see that the right side is concentrated solution, while right side only water, which is called uh, dilute solution. Okay, so you have to see that the uh, the water molecule flow from high concentration toward the low concentration. Okay, or in terms of uh, concentration, the water molecule flow from low concentrated solution toward the high concentrated solution. Okay, so and this transport through the semi-permeable membrane is called osmosis. And tonicity, so it is a term used for uh, the osmolarity of a solution relative to the plasma. Okay, and solution ion is the major contributor to the tonicity of extracellular fluid. Okay, you have to see that in this figure there is when the concentration either intercellular fluid or extracellular fluid or either inside or outside is equal, so there is no movement of water molecule or no movement of solvent molecule is there. So this is called isotonic condition. While if the concentration of extracellular fluid is higher as compared to the intercellular fluid, this is called hypertonic condition. And here the flow of water molecule is there from higher concentration toward the lower concentration until the equilibrium has to be achieved. And here you have to see that the hypotonic condition where the extracellular fluid has a low concentration, while the as compared to the intercellular fluid. Okay, so this is called hypotonic condition. Okay, so hypertonic solution, so certain contain a high concentration of solute relative to the another solution. Okay, like the cell's cytoplasm. And when a cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, the water diffuse out of the cell, causing the cell to shrink. Okay, and hypertonic solution contain a low concentration of solute relative to another solution, like the cell cytoplasm. So when cell placed a hypotonic solution, the water diffuse into the cell and cell swell up. Okay, and maybe a worst and isotonic condition when contain the same concentration of the solute as compared to the another solution. Or when a cell is placed in the isotonic solution, the water diffuses into and out of the cell at the same rate. Okay, uh, hence there is no change in the concentration at either side, and the fluid that surround the body cell is isotonic. Okay, so this figure clearly indicate the isotonic condition and hypertonic condition and hypotonic condition. So isotonic solution, if we compare with the blood, okay, so 0.9% NaCl and 5% dextrose in water. Okay, it is isotonic solution. And hypotonic solution treat dehydration, and hypertonic solution treat cerebral edema. Okay, so while dextrose given to the patient, okay, which has 0.9% NaCl and 5% dextrose. Okay, that's why there is isotonic condition, and there is no loss of either gain of water in the body. And second type of transport is active transport, and molecule move against the concentration gradient here. That's why it require energy. Okay, and it shows saturation kinetics. Okay, so active transport is divided into two major types according to the source of energy. Okay, primary active transport or secondary active transport. Okay, if during the active transport there is direct requirement of ATP is there, this is called primary active transport. Okay, if ATP is not required directly, or only indirect requirement of ATP is there, or ATP require only for established concentration gradient. So this is called secondary active transport. Okay. So primary active transport, they use the energy directly from the hydrolysis of ATP, like sodium potassium pump, calcium pump, hydrogen potassium pump is the example of primary active transport. And sodium potassium pump present in all eukaryotic cells, and function of sodium potassium pump is to maintain sodium potassium concentration difference across the cell membrane, and maintains the volume of the cell, and cause a negative electrical charge inside the cell, that is electrogenic pump, and essential for oxygen utilization by the kidney. And where secondary active transport, where energy utilized in the transport of one substance help in the movement of the other substance. Okay, that's why there is no direct use of ATPs there. So energy is derived secondarily from energy that has been stored in the form of ionic concentration differences of a secondary molecular or ionic substance between the two sides of cell membrane, that created originally by primary active transport. Okay, and co-transport or symport. So the transport of sodium via its concentration gradient is coupled to the transport of other substance in the same direction. Okay, and it require carrier protein like SGLT transporter and sodium glucose co-transport. And another one is counter transport, where the transport of sodium via its concentration gradient is coupled to the transport of other substance in the opposite direction. Okay, so that's why the term is counter transport. One molecule get in while another molecule at the same time get out. And sodium hydrogen counter transport is a proximal tubule of the kidney, is the example of counter transport. And sodium calcium exchanger in the cardiac cells is the example of counter transport. So this figure showing the counter transport, you see the sodium get inside, while say at the same time calcium transport out. Okay, and in the another figure, the sodium transport in, while the uh, HIN transport out. Okay, so this is called counter transport. So sodium counter transport at left side, and calcium hydrogen counter transport is right side. So what is the difference between the facilitated diffusion and active transport? Okay, so in both transport are depend on carrier protein. Okay, that penetrate through the cell membrane as it do for facilitated diffusion as well as active transport. However, in the active transport, the carrier protein function differently from the carrier in facilitated diffusion because it is capable of imparting energy to the transport substance to move it against the concentration or electrochemical gradient. Okay, that's why the carrier protein that present the active transport is capable to utilize the energy from ATP. And next one is vesicular transport like endocytosis, exocytosis, and transcytosis. Okay, so endocytosis or exocytosis. Okay, in this figure you have to see that exocytic vesicles leaving cytoplasm. Okay, so you have to see that this mature vesicle fuse with the plasma membrane and release their content from the uh, cell. While in the another figure, you have to see that the uh, plasma membrane form engulf substance and form vesicles. Okay, that's why it is called vesicular type of transport. The for substance the cell need to take in or expel that are too large for passive or active transport. Okay, that's why uh, these large substances, large molecule transport through the vesicular transport. And in the endocytosis, the material makes contact with the cell membrane, and cell membrane then invaginates. Okay, and invagination is then pinched off, leaving the cell membrane intact. Okay, and form vesicles. And types of endocytosis like receptor mediated endocytosis, phagocytosis, that is engulfment of solid particle, and pinocytosis, that is engulfment of liquid particle. So in the phagocytosis, you have to see that the solid particle engulfed by the pseudopodia that form at the plasma membrane. Okay, then this large solid particle engulf and enclose in the vesicles. Okay, in the pinocytosis, the liquid particle, okay, and liquid substance engulfed by the plasma membrane and stored in the vesicles. Okay, so here the term is pinocytosis because the engulfed particle are in liquid form, while receptor mediated endocytosis where there is receptor is present. Okay, and certain molecule that can bind with these receptor only can engulf by the cell. Okay, not all the molecules. Okay, so that's why this is called receptor mediated endocytosis. So white blood cells surrounded and engulf bacterial by phagocytosis, and amino acid and fatty acid are transport by the pinocytosis, and low density lipid, low density lipoprotein, and nerve growth factor, vitamins, hormone, HIV virus entering the T cell through the receptor mediated endocytosis. And second process is exocytosis. So the process of release of macromolecules from the cell to the exterior, okay, is called exocytosis. And vesicle containing material to be exposed bind to the cell membrane. Okay, then area of fusion break down, leaving the content of the vesicle outside, and cell membrane is still intact. And reverse pinocytosis or immunocytosis, and it require calcium and energy, and secretory granule and hormone can be exocytosed by the process of exocytosis. And this figure showing the process of exocytosis, and you have to see that the material that enclosed in this secretory vesicles, okay, that release from the Golgi apparatus, okay, and their content release in the extracellular fluid by the process of exocytosis, And in this process, this security vesicle fuse with the plasma membrane and release its content. And this figure also showing the process of exocytosis. Okay. And third one is transcytosis. And here vesicles endocytosed on one side of the cell and exocytosed on the opposite side. Okay, so you can see that vesicle endocytosed on one side, okay, while exocytosed on the opposite side. Okay, so that's why it is used defined by another term, transcytosis. Okay, and also known as cytopempsis. And here, transport of substance across the endothelial cells of blood vessel to the interstitial fluid has to be there. And this figure showing the process of transcytosis. First of all, the plasma protein are concentrated in caveoli, which then undergo endocytosis and form vesicles. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so this is called endocytosis. Now, the vesicle across the cell with help from the cytoskeleton. Then vesicle content are released into the interstitial fluid by exocytosis. Okay, so here the both endocytosis and exocytosis process has to be there, and the term used transcytosis. Okay, and so before discussing queen, we have to revise the content. What we have to discuss in this discussion. So first of all, we have to discuss the definition of a transport process. Okay, so how we can define? So the transport of substance across the cell membrane is necessary to maintain the normal functioning of the cell in the body. Okay, so it is very essential process that occur in the body. Okay, and this is general point related to the transport process. And this chart showing the various types of transport process. And uh, this figure showing the why energy required in the active transport, and why not there is no use of energy in the passive transport. And today we have to discuss the diffusion process. Okay, and so in the diffusion process, the movement of ions or molecule from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration, okay, without use of energy. Okay, this is called simple diffusion. Okay, and this figure showing the process of simple diffusion. Okay, and then we have to discuss various factors that affect the rate of diffusion process. Okay, and these are the various factors that affect the rate of diffusion process. Okay, so higher the concentration gradient, higher the rate of diffusion. Okay, smaller the size of a molecule or ion, higher the rate of diffusion. Higher the temperature, higher the rate of diffusion. Okay, and rate of diffusion is higher in gas as compared to the liquid or solid. And higher, larger the surface area, higher the rate of diffusion. And higher the solubility, higher the rate of diffusion. And higher the thickness, and lower the rate of diffusion. Okay, so this is simple diffusion. Then second we have to discuss here facilitated diffusion. Okay, so facilitated diffusion is the simple diffusion, but here the involvement of carrier protein is there. Okay, but there is no, again, no use of energy, and the transport of a molecule down the concentration gradient. And this figure showing the facilitated diffusion, which require protein channel or carrier protein. Okay, both are term used for the different structure. Okay, carrier protein term used for the protein that bind to a larger molecule and change their shape, so the molecule can diffuse in. And the channel protein terms used for the channel that provide water filled pores for charged ion that pass through them. Okay, Then we have to compare discuss comparison between simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Okay, so both require concentration gradient and transport down the concentration gradient, but facilitated diffusion require carrier uh, protein or carrier channel. Okay, and in simple diffusion increase with the concentration gradient, while in the facilitated diffusion, due to the limited number of the channel protein or protein or carrier protein, that's why here the saturation would be achieved. Okay, then we have to discuss osmosis. So osmosis is the movement of water molecule through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, and here water diffuse across a membrane from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Okay, and this figure showing the osmosis process through the semi-permeable membrane. Okay, and tonicity. So here you have to see that there are on the basis of tonicity there are three conditions: hypotonic condition, and hypotonic condition, and hypertonic condition. Okay, if the concentration is higher as compared to the internal fluid, the condition is called hypertonic. If the concentration is lower as compared to the internal fluid or fluid that present inside, it's called hypertonic condition. When the concentration either inside or outside is same, the term used isotonic condition. Okay, so that's why the hypertonic term when we use, okay, it would be clear now. And when we use hypertonic term, and when we use isotonic term. Okay, and this figure showing the condition. If we kept RBC in the isotonic condition, there is no changes there in the RBC. If we kept RBC in the hypertonic solution, the RBC become shrink because the water content transport out. Okay, and if we kept RBC in the hypotonic solution, so the water content get in into the RBC and RBC become burst. Okay, so both hypertonic and hypertonic condition is harmful. Okay, both isotonic and hypertonic condition harmful. Okay, then isotonic solution, where 0.9% NaCl and 5% reactor solution is called isotonic solution. Okay, if RBC kept in this solution, there is no net flow of water either inside or outside is there. Okay, so this condition is called isotonic condition. Okay, and if there is a dehydration is there, then hypotonic solution should be given to treat dehydration. If a cerebral edema is there, so hypertonic solution given to patient to treat cerebral edema. Okay, but at the normal condition, the 0.9% NaCl and 5% dextrose given to the patient. Okay, that's why there is no effect on the osmoregulation of the body. Then we have to discuss active transport. Their molecule move against the concentration gradient, low to high. Energy must be provided, and it exhibits saturation kinetics because the channel protein and carrier protein are in limited in number. So again, active transport are two types: primary active transport, if uh, there is direct utilization of ATP is there, and the secondary active transport if there is no direct use of ATP is there. And primary active transport, here they use the energy directly from the hydrolysis of ATP. Okay, and like sodium potassium pump, calcium pump, hydrogen potassium pump. Okay, and secondary active transport. Okay, in which energy utilized but not directly. Okay, so example of this type of transport is co-transport or symport. Okay, like the transport of sodium via its concentration gradient is coupled to the transport of other substance in the same direction. Okay, so this is called co-transport or symport. Or counter transport, the transport of sodium ion via its concentration gradient is coupled to the transport of other substance in opposite direction. So the term is called counter transport. Okay, or antiport. So like sodium hydrogen counter transport in the proximal tubule of kidney, and sodium calcium exchanger in the cardiac cell is the example of counter transport. And this figure showing the counter transport. And what is the difference between facilitated diffusion and active transport? Okay. So both use carrier protein and channel protein, but in the active transport, the channel protein and carrier protein has capable to use energy from ATP hydrolysis. Okay, because here the transport occur against the concentration gradient, while in the facilitated diffusion transport occur down the concentration gradient. And then we have to discuss three types of vesicular transport: endocytosis, exocytosis, or transcytosis. Okay. And this figure showing the endocytosis. And again, endocytosis are three types: receptor mediated endocytosis, phagocytosis, and pinocytosis. In the phagocytosis, the engulfment of solid particle; in the pinocytosis, the liquid particle; while in the receptor mediated endocytosis, there is involvement of the receptor. Okay. WBC is surround and angle bacteria by the phagocytosis, and amino acid and fatty acids transport by the pinocytosis, and low density lipoprotein, nerve growth factor, vitamins, hormones, HIV virus entering the T cells by receptor mediated endocytosis. Or this figure showing the exocytosis. Okay, this figure again showing the exocytosis. Then the transcytosis, where the both endocytosis and exocytosis has to be there, and this figure showing the transcytosis. Okay, where plasma protein are concentrated in caveolin. Okay, which is a structure that engulf this protein, which then undergo endocytosis and form vesicles. Then vesicle across the cell with the help from the cytoskeleton move the another surface of plasma membrane. Then vesicle content are released into interstitial fluid by exocytosis. Okay. Now attempt quiz. So iron may be taken up by the plant cell by the process of. Okay. So here the basic transport is used. So the option A is correct. The diffusion of iron in the plant depend on osmotic, chemical, and electrical potential gradient. So the option A is correct. The process of secreting water droplets from the pore of some vesicular plant is called. Okay, so this is called guttation. Okay, and the transport of nitrate into the root by sodium proton gradient across the plasma membrane. Okay, so the option A is correct. And types of transport in the oxygen and carbon dioxide in the lungs. Okay, so here the diffusion is there, so the option A is correct. And oxygen move from a relatively high level in air to that in the lung cell. Okay, so here the oxygen and carbon dioxide transport down the concentration gradient. Okay, so the option is correct. Okay, so thank you everyone. So these are the various types of transport which we have to discuss today.